What's the craziest thing a student got away with at school? This socially awkward kid in our school got his revenge on everyone who ever ignored him, and nobody realized what happened until it was too late. Marcus was the type who ate lunch alone in the computer lab, not because he had to, but because he wanted to. We all thought he was weird. He wore the same 3 hoodies on rotation, and mumbled when teachers called on him. Kids would bump into him in the halls on purpose, knock his books down, then act like he was invisible. Even I pretended not to see it happening. Our school had this tradition where seniors got to submit baby photos for the yearbook. Everyone loved guessing who was who. Marcus submitted his photo like everyone else, but nobody cared. We were all focused on the popular kids' transformations. Then yearbooks came out. At first, everything seemed normal. We flipped through pages, signing each other's books, laughing at quotes. But then someone noticed something strange in Sarah Chen's senior portrait. Right behind her left ear, barely visible unless you looked close, was a tiny watermark. 3 letters, MWR. People started checking other photos. The watermarks were everywhere. Behind Jake's varsity jacket, in the corner of Emma's Honor Society photo, hidden in shadows, reflections, anywhere you wouldn't immediately look. Every single senior portrait had those 3 letters somewhere. Then someone figured it out. MWR, Marcus William Rodriguez. Here's where it gets insane. Marcus wasn't some tech genius who hacked the yearbook files. He was on the yearbook committee. Had been since freshman year. Nobody noticed because, well, nobody noticed Marcus. For 4 years, he'd been the one editing photos, adjusting lighting, making everyone look perfect for their big moment. But that wasn't even the real revenge. The next Monday, Marcus wore a different hoodie, bright red. People actually looked at him for once. Someone asked about the watermarks, trying to sound tough. Marcus just smiled and pulled out his phone. He showed them something that made their face go pale. Turns out, when you submit photos to the yearbook committee, you sign a release form. Standard stuff, nobody reads it. But Marcus had rewritten that form sophomore year. Hidden in the legal language was a clause that gave him ownership rights to any edited images. Every senior portrait in our yearbook, the ones going on college applications, LinkedIn profiles, dating apps, Marcus owned them, legally. He could request takedowns, demand licensing fees, whatever he wanted. Our school had accidentally given one kid control over everyone's official senior photo. The principal called an emergency assembly. Parents threatened lawsuits. The yearbook advisor nearly quit on the spot, but Marcus's paperwork was airtight. He'd spent 3 years perfecting this plan, attending committee meetings nobody else bothered with, learning copyright law from YouTube videos in the computer lab. The school offered to recall all yearbooks and reprint them. Would cost thousands. Marcus said he'd sign over the rights for one thing, a written apology from every senior who'd knocked his books down, pretended he didn't exist, or laughed when others messed with him. 132 apologies. That's how many he got. They set up a table in the cafeteria. One by one, seniors walked up, read their apologies into Marcus's phone while he recorded. Some people cried. Jake's hands shook. Emma couldn't look him in the eye. The girl who'd started the worst rumors about him sophomore year, she apologized 4 times before Marcus nodded and checked her name off his list. After the last apology, Marcus stood up, sent 1 email from his phone, and announced he'd released all rights back to the students. Then he walked out of the cafeteria like it was any other day. The school tried to downplay the whole thing, called it a miscommunication, but everyone knew the truth. Marcus had pulled off the most elaborate revenge in school history, and he'd done it completely legally. No suspensions, no expulsions, just paperwork and patience. Senior year ended 2 weeks later. Marcus gave a speech at graduation as yearbook committee head. Short, simple, forgettable. But when he walked across that stage, something weird happened. People clapped. Real applause, not the polite kind. Jake even whistled. Last I heard, Marcus works in tech somewhere in Seattle. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Sarah Chen kept her watermarked photo as her profile picture everywhere. Said it reminded her that invisible people see everything. The yearbook advisor changed the photo submission rules the very next year. Now there's a whole legal team that reviews those forms. They call it the Marcus Protocol.